If you're an Asian guy who's only ever been into white girls, it's not just your type. It's programming running in your head, and it's got 3 lines of code: proximity, programming, and prestige. It is none of my business who you fall for, but at least ask yourself why that is. I hated being Chinese. I sometimes even lied about my ethnicity. Korea had K-pop, Japan had anime. China, in Western media, all we got was stupid memes like +1,000 social credit, or dog's cat yum, or talking about the authoritarian regime. By the way, my fellow Americans, we have zero right to call China an authoritarian regime under the annoying Orange administration. The self-loathing didn't come out of nowhere. It all started with those 3 Ps I mentioned from earlier. The first, proximity. All of the most popular girls were white, and they typically went for white guys, which is completely fine. Those same girls also grew up mostly around white guys, watching High School Musical and listening to One Direction. If your school was an A school, the smartest kid could have been the Asian guy, what your mom will call the other person's kid. And so he was popular because people needed him. But you, average Asians in your school, started associating white people as cool. It's here, this little seed of I wish I was white was planted. The alternative strat is to become the funny kid. But even then, you still think being an average white guy is probably still better than being an average Asian guy. How do we break free? First, expand your social circle. This happens very naturally in college, but so many of us join white frats thinking that you'll be able to score with a white girl because you're now paying for a new circle of friends. Again, it doesn't matter what frat you join. Are you joining because your friends are all joining? If so, good for you. Bro times are good times. Or are you joining to hover awkwardly around Stacy, Ashley, and Kaylee with a GH? Go to college and diversify. Interestingly enough, it's also in college a bunch of the Asian guys do a complete 180 and only hang out with Asians. The second P, programming. I also watched Spider-Man, High School Musical, and How I Met Your Mother. And guess what? The main characters of those shows were all white. Again, them being white is not a problem. I still love all of these Western movies and shows. I mean, How I Met Your Mother was a huge reason why I moved to New York City. And if you're born after 2005, you have it a lot easier with K-pop and K-drama nowadays doing God's work. I also watched some Chinese dramas back then, but it was always with my mom and dad, so that didn't really make being Chinese any cooler. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like Asian men are a bit more emotional and sensitive. So we often like romance movies a bit more. Like to this day, my favorite movies are Before Sunrise and 500 Days of Summer. Main female protagonists are cute and charming and kind of those movies that made me romanticize them a bit much. I'm not trying to get you to stop watching Western shows because I wouldn't want you to miss out on bangers like Better Call Saul or Season 7 Game of Thrones. But maybe take some time to remember what you grew up watching and how it might have affected your attraction. The last P, prestige. You know what felt better than kissing a pretty white girl in high school? Having every other guy see you kiss the pretty white girl. Yes, I know this is creepy. I know this is racist and low-key misogynistic as hell. But I think a lot of guys, like myself, had to go through that phase to learn how to respect girls for who they are and not what color they are. So not sure if you guys ever seen Fresh Off of the Boat, but pretty early in the show, Eddie the Asian kid basically goes through everything that I've just talked about before. And if you're currently crushing on a white girl, just ask yourself, do you truly like her because of who she is or because of what she represents? If you're still in primary school, does a part of you only like her because she's pretty and dating her will make your classmates jealous? It's toxic, but for some reason, us humans just love to make others feel jealous. Like their jealousy somehow validates that we have succeeded. But we do this because we struggle to validate ourselves, by ourselves. And so if every girl you've had a crush on looked like the same stock photo or was a way for you to get more clout, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, why? To use a horrifying image to make a very cheesy point, if you peel off her face and skin, will you still feel the same way about them? Okay, maybe I guess not, because if you're heartless enough to peel them off, Silence of the Lambs style, what the